A Cute Cat Story, a Rebirth Lawyer Story. Chapter 1. The Lawyer at His Peak. The moment of glory. Jack, a young and successful lawyer, stands in the spotlight on a bright stage, holding a gleaming trophy symbolizing honor. Cameras flash relentlessly, and the room echoes with applause. Jack's confident smile radiates pride, the ultimate reward for years of hard work. Sharing the joy with family. At noon, Jack celebrates at home with his wife Ruth and daughter Alice. Alice snuggles beside him on the couch, her laughter filling the air. Ruth pours him a glass of champagne, her face beaming with pride. The cozy family scene is enviably perfect. Reflecting on his journey after lunch, Jack sits alone in his study, staring at the wall adorned with law degrees, awards, and framed articles. His expression softens with nostalgia as he recalls his rise from a humble family to a celebrated lawyer. Marrying Ruth, the daughter of the city's wealthiest man, and raising their lovely daughter Alice felt like life's jackpot. Fighting for the underdog. Later that afternoon in court, Jack fiercely defends a client from an underprivileged background. His sharp arguments leave the opposing lawyer speechless. The client looks at him with tears of gratitude, cementing Jack's image as a compassionate and determined advocate. Precious family time. After work, Jack takes Alice to the park, where they play on the slides. Ruth watches them nearby, smiling serenely. The sunlight bathes their small family in warmth. Later, Jack drops Alice at her grandparents' house before heading to his office to retrieve some files, while Ruth returns alone.
Hidden tensions. In their bedroom, Ruth's face grows tense as she finishes a phone call with Bruce, who is Jack's boss and her secret lover. Her eyes shift to a stack of papers on the table, the vague titles hinting at financial matters. The atmosphere turns uneasy, signaling that not everything is as idyllic as it seems.
Chapter 2. The Sudden Betrayal Driving Home. After the celebration. That evening, Jack drives back to his luxurious penthouse, the soft tunes of relaxing music playing in the background. His mood is light, the sound of congratulations still ringing in his ears. A moment with his wife. At home, Ruth greets him with a warm hug and hands him a glass of red wine. Jack sinks into the couch, feeling the comfort of home. Illusion of romance on the balcony. Ruth leads Jack to the balcony, suggesting they admire the city lights. She leans close to him, the fatal push encouraging Jack to lean over the railing for a better view. Ruth's smile suddenly turns cold. Without warning, she shoves him forcefully. Jack falls, his outstretched hands frantically grabbing at the air as terror flashes across his face. The final revelation. As he is falling, Jack turns his head just enough to see Ruth standing motionless on the balcony, her expression icy. From the shadows, Bruce steps forward with a triumphant smirk. The two stand together, their betrayal glaringly clear. Life's last moment. Before hitting the ground, Jack's descent is interrupted by a strange black void. Time seems to stop. He goes out and loses consciousness immediately. Chapter 3. The Second Chance. Waking up in shock, morning sunlight streams into the bedroom as Jack bolts upright in bed. He looks around, his heart racing. Glancing at the clock, he notices it's 7 a.m., the day the tragedy unfolded. The horrible events from the night feel like a surreal nightmare. Realizing the date. Grabbing his phone, Jack checks the date. March 16th, 2024. It's the day of the accident. His hands tremble, and his mind races to make sense of the situation. Reliving painful memories. Seated at his desk, Jack recalls Ruth's push and Bruce's smug grin. The emotions, including anger, heartbreak, and disbelief, flood back and soon turn to determination. A new resolve. Jack clenches his fists and mutters to himself, "This time, I won't let you win, and I will find the truth." His eyes harden with a steely resolve. Careful around Ruth. At breakfast, Ruth cheerfully hands Jack a glass of milk. He accepts it calmly, though his gaze lingers on her hand for a split second. On the surface, he acts composed, but inside, he's fully alert. The start of observation. That night, Jack stealthily accesses Ruth's phone. Scanning through her messages, he discovers her intimate exchanges with Bruce. Quietly, he takes some photos and begins to plan his counterattack. Also, Jack avoids going to the balcony and is careful whether someone enters his home. Chapter 4: Gathering the Truth. Investigating financial records. At Bruce's company office, Jack uses his position as a legal advisor to access financial documents. Sitting at a desk, he scrolls through records and notices suspicious transactions. Saving the data, his expression turns cold and calculating. Tracking their communication. In his car, Jack reviews photos of Ruth and Bruce's call logs. He jots down key details in his notebook, his sharp mind piecing together the puzzle. Installing surveillance back home, Jack installs a listening device on the study's bookshelf. His movements are precise, and he tests the device with quiet confidence. Hearing the truth. Late at night, Jack listens to a recording of Ruth and Bruce discussing their plan to get rid of him. His face tightens with pain, but his determination only grows stronger, unearthing more evidence. Disguised as a cleaner, Jack sneaks into Bruce's office and retrieves secret documents later. Photographs of the files reveal financial connections between Ruth and Bruce, strengthening Jack's case. Assembling the puzzle. In his study, Jack organizes all the evidence, including recordings, financial records, and messages. The full scope of their betrayal becomes clear. He stares at an old photo of 3 cute little cats taken when they were kids and good friends, the once happy faces being a cruel reminder now. Chapter 5: The Counterattack, Backing Up. Evidence. Jack encrypts the files and stores them across multiple locations, including hard drives and cloud servers. His focus is unwavering as he ensures nothing can compromise his plan. A cup of coffee is on the desk. Securing his daughter. Arranging for Alice to stay with her grandparents, Jack hugs her tightly at the door. Her innocent smile fuels his resolve. Feigned trust. At a fancy dinner with Ruth, Jack pretends to relax, even raising a toast to his recent award. Ruth's polite smile betrays a hint of suspicion, but Jack remains outwardly composed. Police collaboration. Jack meets with a seasoned detective at the police station, handing over his meticulously compiled evidence. The officer nods in agreement, their conversation charged with a shared sense of justice. Sowing confusion. During a meeting at Bruce's company, Jack subtly questions some financial anomalies. Bruce struggles to respond, visibly uneasy. Outside the room, Ruth checks her phone, her calm demeanor cracking slightly. Jack watches them secretly. Final preparations. At night, Jack takes a phone call to confirm a key witness's presence at an upcoming event. Holding a file of damning evidence, his determined expression signals the endgame is near. Chapter 6: Final Victory, the Grand Event. At a luxurious banquet, Jack observes each arriving guest. Ruth and Bruce, dressed impeccably, exude confidence, unaware of the storm brewing. The witness arrives midway through the event. A middle-aged man discreetly hands Jack a critical information folder. Jack's eyes light up as he nods in silent acknowledgement. Evidence goes public. Taking the stage, Jack thanks the attendees before playing a recording of Ruth and Bruce plotting to murder him. Gasps of attendees ripple through the room as Ruth's face drains of color and Bruce panics. Police intervention. As Ruth and Bruce attempt to leave, officers burst in and arrest them on the spot. Ruth pleads, her voice trembling, while Bruce stands silently. Jack stood aside and watched the fate of the two coldly. The courtroom showdown. In court, Ruth and Bruce sat in the dock, looking pale. At the same time, Jack delivers a powerful testimony, presenting irrefutable evidence. Finally, the judge declares Ruth and Bruce guilty, awarding Jack full custody of Alice. Relief and sadness appear on Jack's face. A fresh start. Outside the courthouse, Jack embraces Alice, her laughter lighting up his weary heart. Hand in hand, they walk forward, ready to rebuild their lives with a newfound sense of hope.